Hey everybody, Doug here from 2 Plus Stuff. I won't waste any time with this terrible view, but it's sunny out, which is kind of a rare thing for us, and so I wanted to just get a live stream in with my window open, which is, like I said, a pretty rare occasion, so I'm kind of excited about it. But anyway, I got the camera down here. Let me just boot up my chat so I can see things from the painting desk, because that tends to help. And if you are just joining me, this is, of course, my normal... Every Friday I try to have a hangout just to catch folks over in Europe during the day, as well as some folks who can listen to things at work. So, I have kind of a strange project, as you can tell by the title of this live stream, and that is a full stable of horses. So, my very good friend, Jack from Rerolling Ones, is doing Cities of Sigmar, and he came into ownership over time through like eBay deals and people, a local guy who was going to get into it and then changed his mind, that kind of stuff, of a metric ton of Cities of Sigmar. Enough to, I don't know, build 3 cities independently. And so he just wanted a little bit of help getting caught up and ready to start playing. And so he gave me 20, some are off camera up here to the top right, horses. And these are for the... Pistoliers or the other guys. I don't remember what they're called, but anyway, he has the just got my finger in some paint. He has the Seahawks color scheme, so I made 10 with the blue, 10 with the green, and now I'm just doing some finishing touches, going back and doing the metal on the I'm not a horse guy, I don't really know what it's called, but the crap around their face that ties the reins to them. And I'm gonna throw the metal on there, and then we're just going to wash that and the saddle. And honestly, they should be pretty much done. The nice thing is... Outriders, thank you, Jack. The nice thing is that because these are older sculpts, they lack a lot of detail. And so you can really bang them out very quickly. For example, like there's not a lot to work with when it comes to really just the main section of the horse, because the neck is all blank, the tail end, like the tail itself has some texture to it to catch the fur, but it's actual like upper leg and butt and back, they all across the back of the model. It's just kind of a blank sheet, so there's not a lot to do, which ends up being kind of good, because then you can just crank them, which is kind of my specialty. just cranking them. And then while these guys are drying after that wash, I'm going to be putting some more touches onto my buddy Ben's gang Orlock for Necromunda. I'm one of the few times that I have a bunch of projects going on for other people, but I'm not feeling stressed about it. And I think it's because the Orlock gang is small. It's 10 dudes, and the horses, although there's 20 of them, are incredibly simple. So that's kind of nice. I see that some questions are pouring in. Go ahead and throw them in the chat. Martin Orlando, I see your question about the lore contest. It is going well. I finalized my top 10, and this weekend, actually, so I take Fridays to work from home. So today I'm going to compile the links and stuff like that to make sure that it's anonymous, like I promised it would be, and then I'll put that into the patrons. And I'll give them maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks to vote, because it'll take some time to read through them. But at that point, they'll vote, and then everything's pretty much pushed back by 1 week. 1 week because I got way more entries than I expected, which is great, actually. It's a great thing. And so that's kind of where it sits right now. But it is coming along. I have been very diligent in... trying to keep up with my reading of them. I finished it yesterday on my lunch break at work. And man, so basically how I did the lore contest is they're all in my inbox. I made a special mailbox for the lore contest stuff. And then so I was like, okay, so I made like a little sub inbox within that. And I said, one is called No Thank You, meaning I didn't understand what they were trying to say, or it just wasn't appealing, that kind of stuff. Because I got some ones that are just goofball answers, right? Because people were just having fun, and that's fine. And then I kind of made subfolders that were like first draft, second draft, third draft, meaning, is it a good story? Is it coherent? Do I know what they're talking about? Cool, they go to round 2. And then from round 2, I was able to thin it down to round 3 and that kind of stuff. So it kind of helped that way to, instead of reading what ended up being 114 entries in totality, and just trying to pick 10 willy-nilly, I kind of put it in waves so that I could thin it out just a little bit for myself, and that helped. So yeah. Let's see. Hi from New Jersey. What up? Pittsburgh, Ontario. Yes, Lord Craig. I am not talking about who's in the top 10, my friend. Gots to wait. So yeah, there was some good stuff in there. What I'm extremely happy about, and I will say this much before I move on from the lore contest, I'm extremely happy that my 10 finalists, who there was kind of a lot in that, like, if I had 15 to 20 entries instead of the top 10, there would have been some key ones in there. But that top 10 has a huge diversity of armies. There's Maggotkin, Slaves to Darkness, Fire Slayers, what else? Stormcast, Khorne stuff. Yeah, there's all kinds of cool things. So, and there are different kinds of things too. Like some people, it was literally like a short story, in which case, you know, if that gets chosen as one of the winners, I have to like worked on my voice acting skills. And then some are just like, you know, it just has a header that says, you know, theme, and they present a very unique take on an army that already exists, and they kind of list off the characters and who's in charge of that thing. So there's a wide swath of options, and I'm very excited about that. What I'm working on right now is making sure all the links are viewable so that when I go to share with the patrons, I don't get blasted with, Doug, I can't open this. Doug, it says I can't read this. And that just, honestly, at a certain point, it's just a lot of data entry. Okay. Hi from Kansas. Just finished my Demons of Khorne Star collecting box. Sweet. Actually, that reminds me, Jack, I still have those like 50 Blood Reavers I need to post online to sell. I totally forgot about them. Jack collected what I'm going to call is a bundle of Blood Reavers. He's like, can you sell these online? Because I do a lot of stuff on eBay. I was like, okay. And I kind of just stare at him for a while, because every once in a while I'm like, maybe I should do Khorne. I'm like, nah, I shouldn't do Khorne. I'm sure it's tons of fun. I'm really enjoying Minergal stuff right now. Minergal. All right. Excuse me, sorry. Had to almost sneeze there for a second. So, yeah, what's going on in the wide world of wargaming? Let's see. Games Workshop. Oh, I did put my pre-order in for my Maggotkin cards for Warcry. Very excited. There's only 2 units, I think, if I read that correctly. There's the Puscoil Blight Lords, which is awesome. I did not expect them to make the cut, and Blight Kings. So, like, interesting. Thanks for the horse help. You are horse welcome. Or should I say, of horse. I'm terrible at puns. Okay. So now we gotta do the wash. And so for these, if you are going to crank these out like an idiot like I did, what I did was basically primed some with this tan color you can see by the bases and some gray, and then took a bunch of different contrast paints and washed over them. So Gore Grunt of Fur for the darker brown horses. You got, I don't remember what that one was. Black Templar for black horses, and then Just built up the gray after a wash with the gray ones. And then just picked a couple of, I don't know, fur and hair combinations and whatnots. I tried to split it up so I painted 10 of like the lighter color ones because they're kind of a pain. They require more coats because it's so much brighter than the darker ones. And made sure that there's 5 of one color, 5 in another. So you can just, work smart, not hard. You kind of plan out what colors you want to use and get to cranking. Let me see. Trying to find... here we go. No. Speaking of which, Doug, what do you know about this Hidden Realm Haven? I read that it's supposed to be a realm of Sigmar made to protect and hide the Fey Enchantress. Steel Faith, was that at the end of the end times? I remember there being something like that. I just joined. What models are those? These are the horses for Pistoliers, I believe, or whatever, the Outriders. I was about to say, I don't know, but then I remember that someone literally just told me. Let's see. We will take this one. Okay. Are you building Cities of Sigmar? No, these are from my buddy Jack. Although I will tell you, Cities of Sigmar was very tempting. But if I did a Cities of Sigmar army, it would be a little while because I'm in a good place right now with my Nurgle that I'm enjoying, and I just want to stick to what I'm liking. But the reason I say it would be a little while is mainly because, like, if I did a Cities of Sigmar army, I would go all in and go crazy. So, for example, like I would want to have Duarden mixed with, Free Guild guys and make it a truly, like, a mixed race. Like, every unit has different races within it kind of thing. Maybe not every single unit, but, like, the vast bulk of them, I want it to represent the fact that these are different races working together. And that's a lot of time and investment because it's hunting down, older sculpts that they got rid of, or not that they got rid of, but they stopped producing, that are still totally legal to play in order to get those things. Kind of like, you can have your Empire dudes with guns, but I would want to have, like, what are they, Thunderers? I don't know, but whatever the Dwarven guys with the most basic handgun. I think they got rid of that. That kind of stuff. Let's see. Nice mate to the stream. I know you're doing Nurgle now. Are you looking to pick up the Warcry Warband? Yes. Yes, I'm very excited. Thunderers. Thank you. Ready for them all? Do they still make those? Like, am I crazy? Or did they get rid of those and in favor of the Empire ones being like the standard gun troop? But yeah, that's if I did Cities of Sigmar, that's what I would do. If you want to see like someone's real take on like Cities of Sigmar that I am 100% enamored / agree with, it is definitely Vince Ventrella. If you go watch their coverage of that book when it came out, sorry, I'm just picking out the pools of wash to make sure nothing sits a little too heavy. He kind of goes into that same concept of like, we can have mixed races, mixed units. The modeling opportunities are limitless. And I wholeheartedly agree. Let's see. Nope, those were cut. Okay. Hello from Sweden, Doug. Final touches on my army before a tournament tomorrow. Nice. Glad to hopefully offer a little bit of entertainment. I didn't have like a defined topic going into today's thing. I just was already sitting here painting, and Jack was like, "When are you going live?" I was like, "I don't know. Probably should already be live." Let's see. Oh, big things in 2+ tough land. I got a a laptop that can also edit videos because, and I'll say this now, and I'm going to make a big announcement later this week because it's very exciting to me. I'm going to be working with the gentleman from the Mortal Realms podcast, now that it's official, because let me tell you this story as I lead up to this. After the weekend of CanCon and LVO, I was very upset. And I was upset because there was a lot of vitriol online regarding playtesters with how Zinch was so, we'll say suffocating, I think is probably a fair word, in the results of CanCon. And things just got nasty, and I didn't like it. It was actually a weekend where once people started getting like that, I had to just turn off my computer and be like, I need to have an Age of Sigmar break for a weekend because I can't handle this right now. And so I was chatting with a gentleman from another podcast named Will Costello, who, if you listen to the Rolling Bad podcast, is one of my favorite podcasts. So absolutely go check them out. And we were chatting on Twitter, and he had put forward the idea of like, why don't we start to cover narrative events the same way that competitive events are covered, meaning there's kind of a play-by-play, a news ticker, interviewing players, what's out on the field, that kind of stuff. And so I'm going to AdeptiCon. Tickets were already purchased and everything. And I was like, you know what? I left my schedule pretty wide open so that I can do that kind of stuff. And so I'll do it. And so I reached, he beat me to it, but I connected eventually with Paul, who runs the AOS narrative event. They are running a full narrative event as well as Warcry. So full AOS and Warcry, I mean. And I just asked how I could step in and help. And it was weird because they were so excited to have me helping to try and cover stuff. Because, they're trying to run the event. They don't have time to be on Twitter or Instagram or all that stuff. It's hard. But I would be someone who's not in the event, but is dedicated to sharing it, just as a person on the side. And so there's going to be a 2+ Tough coverage of the narrative event. I got a laptop that will allow me to edit videos in real time, so I can give Warfront updates on what's happening within the story and that kind of stuff, partnering with the guys from the Mortal Realms podcast, also a great lore podcast if you guys like those kinds of things. I'm hoping you do, because that's kind of what I do. But yeah, it's really cool, and I'm very excited about it. So you'll see me there. I'm not going to be bringing a whole lot of models with me to AdeptiCon, weirdly enough. I'm going to have my Necromunda, Infinity, and Warcry, all small skirmish games that can fit into something like this big. And then I'll have my laptop and my books and that kind of stuff, and we'll do all the video stuff from there. So I'm excited about it. I'm really excited about it. So I'm going to do all kinds of event coverage. I'm kind of making a list of all the things I want to do. I'm going to do a lore video that's Sean Blake, I don't know what you're talking about. Like a new channel. I have no idea what you're talking about. So anyway, I'm going to be working with the Mortal Realms guys, and it's going to be a great time. Let's see here. So, I'm calling the horses done. Dunzo. Jack, come get your horses after work. All they need to do is be based, and I left the hooves undone because I figured when you're getting in there with texture paint, you're probably going to bump them anyway. Oh wait, I got one more color to do. Never mind. Just, here we go. Oh, Sean. Okay, sorry. I just reread it. Almost like a news channel. Okay, sorry. It takes a second for the thing. Yes, I have a few ideas of what I want to do. And one of them is almost doing like the old-timey newsreels before black and white movies, where it's like, this week in the wall. You know what I mean? They kind of give you a recap of just generally what's happening, but it's all propaganda focused. And you will see which side of the propaganda I fall on at the event. So yeah, that's one idea. And then I'm going to do a full lore video, kind of like the Wrath of the Everchosen series, but it's going to be that segment of like each section of that story arc is what's happening at the narrative event. That one will be done afterwards because obviously you kind of have to know the whole story before you can relay it to people. I'm looking for some. The only color I have left is what I'm assuming is the leader horses have these little like bells on their front, and I'm trying to find. I'm bell hunting. I think there's just 3. Let's see. So anyway, yeah, I'm super excited. Got my plane tickets, got the hotel booked. Did you know you can accomplish that sound really, really easily with a tube speak into your microphone and your grain turned way up? Oh, like speak into almost like a paper towel tube? Something like that? Is that what you mean by tube? Because it'll echo it all out and make it all sound washed. Anyway, so I'll play around with that, but yes, sir, exactly. Okay, cool. I will absolutely do that. That sounds like a lot of fun. I have all the filters with my editing software to make it seem like old-timey war footage. Greetings from the realm of Germany. Nice. Okay, now they are all kinds done. So trying to figure out what part of these Amazons. I'm not sure what what army are you talking about? That sounds class. The Monsters of the Realm you did. Yeah. If you guys haven't seen that video, I did it's mostly a lark just for a couple laughs, but during the Beasts of Chaos week, I couldn't find a way to talk about just the random half a paragraph, 3-sentence entries for all the beasts, and so I did a Mutual of Omaha Wild Kingdom style video where I made it seem like I was reporting like National Geographic style kind of thing on all these monsters. Made some funny artwork with them. And people were like, this is dumb, but it's like, there's no way to talk about these things because there's just not enough information to be meaningful. So, yeah, that's what it was. I had fun doing it. Sometimes you gotta be laughing at yourself. Self vibe. So let's grab Ben's Erg. Alright, here we are. Back to a whole bunch of gangers. And the last thing I think I did was I washed the orange. Yes, that is correct. So what do I need to do next? Hey Doug, going online I figured it was about 500 to 600 for 5 nights at AdeptiCon. 5 nights. Let me think about what mine was. I think so. I think it is something like that. That doesn't sound crazy. I remember I got in there a little bit later than I wanted to initially when it came to signing up for stuff because I completely forgot what day it was when the stuff went live. Give me just a second. I'm going to pull up the Orlok gang official picture because I want to see how they did. I know they do like a version of hazard stripes. They're not actually hazard stripes. They just paint on some yellow on some of the armor parts. So let's see. Boxed games. I think we can all safely say that Necromunda has exceeded the term boxed games. You must drink a lot of wine to get all those corks. Oh no, my friend. This is from Ben. I do not put models on corks. You've seen me. There's about 3 years of evidence that tells you a story that Doug does not believe in corks or wet pallets. To corroborate my evidence here. Okay. Okay, so they do. Okay. No, I'm on board. I figured it out. Let's see. And yes. Yeah, you can get a bunch of these. So there are actually quite a few like artsy craftsy projects, you know, like you'll see people on Pinterest do that kind of stuff that use a lot of cork. And so what I imagine it is on some level, people who make corks for wine bottles probably have a list of things that are like, this isn't like compressed right, or it's slightly defective, and they sell it off, you know, to those crafty companies to make a buck. Because they're from all different companies. Some of them you can tell were from wine bottles, but not all. Just a moment here of quiet as I suck it in, hold my breath to paint the super tiny little details on these boys. Okay. Where else do they have yellow? It's on some of the gun parts. Not much on the shoulders. Okay. Okay, we were that. Can we expect Infinity lore from the channel? I'm in love with the setting. Yes, I have a video coming out this week. I have to record it, but for the Combined Army, which is, I would say, the main alien threat of the setting for sure. If you're looking to play like a Tyranids, not Tyranid style, because the game plays very differently than anything 40k has, but if you're looking for the existential threat that is the Tyranids, probably this is one of the better armies to choose for that, is the Combined Army. And I agree, it's an awesome setting. Tyrannosaurus, where are the rail rifles? Rail rifles. I am unfamiliar with a rail rifle. Okay, so we got... I think the Tau have rail rifles in 40k, don't they? Let's see. Need a second warband to demo games. Yeah, that's always a tough one. Is accruing, investing deeper enough to be able to sell people on investing themselves, kind of thing. It's kind of a weird place to be. And I think there's an element that's why skirmish games do so well, is because the investment is much lower. If you could have any piece or gear from 40k on AOS, what would you get? So let me clarify, Luis. What you mean is if I could take something from 40k and put it into Age of Sigmar, or do you mean take something from either setting and have it in real life? Yes. Okay. So I'm assuming you mean the first one. If I could take anything from 40k and put it in AOS, trying to think of one of my favorite things. What are, I should clarify, are my favorite things from 40K? Let me think about that for a hot second. Favorite things from 40K. Well, I really do like the whole idea of merging men and machines. We don't really get a lot of that in AOS. I'd love for Grugny to like have his own version of AdMech where it's like Dwardner like plugged into cog weapons and be all dark in that sense. I think that's probably my answer. All right. Let's see. I like it. Yeah. Honestly, I'm trying to think. Because there's not a lot that they don't have, like, a magic version of. Like, you could say bolters, and then you look at, like, you know, the Vanguard Rangers and their, you know, legally distinct bolters. They're the same thing, you know. So there's stuff like that where it's like, they're for all of the some of the bigger themes, there's some clear analogs, but the idea of life meaning so little that you're willing to just use someone basically as a battery and or, you know, computer processor equivalent, that doesn't quite exist in AOS. And so I'm trying to think of things that are like wholly unique to each setting that if you were to cross them over would look fantastically weird. So that was my thought when I said that. Skaven are pretty unique. I need to find it, but someone sent me like a 3-page long email about why they're absolutely sure that the 40K and AOS settings are linked, and it had, honestly, it got a little like conspiracy theory level rambly a little bit, like where they're saying things but they're not connecting the dots for you. About how Skaven somehow prove that the two settings are combined. I don't really quite understand, but yeah. So apparently that's true. Who knows? How's the Deluge boat along? Oh, good. Good. I started playing games with them. I'm going to see if I have time to record it. But I'm going to do a little video, kind of an update. Less on like the actual Deluge series of painting the dudes and more a summary of my experience playing them, because I want to talk about the Drowned Men and the Blessed Sons that came out with the new Everchosen. I don't do a whole lot of rules, you know, discussion, that kind of stuff, but man, I had a great time gaming with them earlier. It was last weekend. Yeah, it was last week. Had a wonderful time. Played against Night Haunt, which I think under normal circumstances would probably be the worst matchup for me. Because the whole idea with my list, it's one of those things that, like, it's not going to win any tournaments, right? It's very simple and it has one very obvious flaw. And the flaw is the plan of my army is to throw 4 Puscoil Blightlords so deep into your territory that it kind of like grinds you down for one turn, and then all the rest of my super tough stuff goes up and hops on an objective. That's the core of what the army does. And the problem with that is that if you can deal with if you can deal with the Pusco Blight Lords either by killing them outright, which is hard to do because it takes a lot of damage to kill those guys, or if you can somehow like retreat and charge, or like fly over, which was the Night Haunt, and get around that buffer, then you're in pretty good shape. And but I managed to pull the win out, so I feel pretty good about that. Let's see. Lore Master, I saw you there. My thing is, I don't know when my wife's coming home, so I'm going to hop off when she does. So by the time I get you on, I'll probably have to cut out. But absolutely, I saw that you messaged me. I didn't see what it was because I was literally booting up my phone for this when I saw it. We will absolutely do something together. Because I have been pumping out some spicy Seraphon memes and having a blast with it. Let's see, what's next? Let's grab some black here. Got your first AOS tournament? Nice! Do it. Come back with your Shieldor on it. What are you taking? Also, does anybody else have any events going on? My next one is on the 7th. Up at Bellingham, in Bellingham, Washington, at, I believe it's Dark Tower. I know it's got dark in the name. And I'm very excited about it because that'll be the first tournament that I go to with Manurgle. Riptide this weekend. Yeah, my thing is, I don't want to do 2-day events. When I'm done on tournament day, I'm like, man, I'm sure glad that's behind me. I'm going to rest, and then I'm going to, wake up early and do dishes and stuff like that and, live my life. And I just, for some reason, the idea of going back to the event to do it again was like, oh, that sounds like work. And then I actually have to go to work. Jack throwing a shout out to a new channel / show. That's awesome. I will check that out. I had not heard of it. Which is weird. I'm a subscriber to Lore Master. Be trapped in a hotel for 2 days with 6 Zinch lists and 2 identical Ostearch Bone Reaper lists. You have fun. What you didn't mention is being trapped in a hotel with lots and lots of dude heat and body odor. So now I'm just painting on these kind of weird straps that lock into, they have these the shin guards that apparently just lock onto their pants. I don't really know how. It's not really clear. It's on the Italian Spartacus channel, Total War. Okay, cool. What do demons smell like? I think it depends greatly on the on the demon. I sure hope the slash ones smell different than the Nurgle ones. Might ruin the whole alluring thing. Sulfur, that's a good choice. Demons tend to smell like ozone. Okay. I'm excited to get these bad boys off my painting table. They're fun, but not models that excite me, you know? For some reason, when it comes to Necromunda, I kind of feel the same way. Yeah, I do kind of feel the same way as I feel about Warcry, which is like, if I'm gonna paint them, I want them to be like super out there and weird. That's why I like the Escher gang that I have, where it's like there's just nothing sensible about them, but man, are they all fun. Everything from their hairstyle to the weapons they prefer to use, all of it makes absolutely no sense. They would be killed immediately. But they're so classy as they do it. It meaning die in droves. Lore Master, see you, buddy. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy Tejas. I think that's where you're from. I feel like we bonded over that for a hard second. Let's see. So my brother got me Stardrake, and I really want to build an army around it, but I have never played Stormcast. What's good and thematic? Can anyone else help out my buddy Michael? I have only ever seen a Stardrake used once, and I cannot for the life of me recall how it was played. I know there's like a way to get it to be like darn near unkillable. And it just like commands the field, but I don't know the synergies that make that happen. But I know there's people in the chat who do. Yeah, it's such a cool model. It is. Yeah, the Stardrake is awesome looking. Okay, so don't go for a Storm Host and instead play as generic Stormcast with Staunch Defender. That'll boost his effectiveness a little bit, or keep his survivability, not effectiveness, but I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I am not the greatest when it comes to hazard stripes. Which is weird. I've had an immense amount of practice with them. It's not too bad. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit. Question, how are you doing? I'm doing good. Okay, we're coming along, Let's bring it back yep. Yeah, it's one of those things that, like, I like the idea of having those big centerpiece models. Because in your mind, you're like, this thing should just go up and just get into combat and wreck face. But the problem is, usually that's a dumb idea, right? Usually you're just like, oh, this amazing centerpiece model that looks like it can survive anything. You know, think Gordrak or Bloodthirster. It dies really easy. But with the right application of buffs and stuff like that, some monsters can do that. And there is nothing sweeter than when a model does exactly what you picture in your head it doing. You know? Nice thing about these guys with the hazard stripes is they can be a little bit off because I'm going to go back and do some weathering on them on top of it. So, you know, it's one of those things that, like, that's the nice thing about weathering effects. A lot of people don't like them because they think it makes it look too busy. But man, they can hide some minute details like nobody's business. Question, so, excuse me. So I know Khorne isn't too big on range stuff, but do you think that Velite's style? Can you explain that? I have not heard that term before. It's funny, you know, with Khorne, they say he's not much of a ranged guy, but nothing really talks about that rules-wise. He's the only demon army with, like, a full-blown artillery piece. Velites, Rumen Spear Throwers. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Chaos Marauders have javelins they can throw. There's no reason why. I think the only thing that they have hard-coded into Khorne is a disdain for magic, and even then I find that wishy-washy given endless prayers. But yes, he hates magic. So I would say absolutely, if you want to do some throwing spears, yes. I don't see any reason why it makes any less sense than anything else. Question, does anyone have a recommendation on miniature storage? I've seen the same glass case in quite a few setups. Yeah, that's like an IKEA thing. If someone knows what the actual name is, because IKEA names all their furniture, I'm sure it's like Sven or Dwarf or something like that. You know, someone can give the exact name. But yeah, if you're talking like storage at your home, yeah, there's a glass case from IKEA. Detlov, that's his name. Feel it's better to say have that favor of tactical disciplines and hate poke run strategies. Yeah, he's that's a good point. Yeah, there. I mean, I think he values the warrior who's not afraid to get into combat. But I mean, he, like I said before, he's the only demon army that has an artillery piece, so I don't think he's super opposed. I'm also using boxes with metal sheets inlaid and mag ties. That's actually what I started doing. I went out and had a little shopping spree at a local hardware store. They were having a sale on storage bins, basically. And so I grabbed a whole bunch of those of different sizes, ones that fit inside each other. And so between metal sheets in the roofing section and some Gorilla Glue and that kind of stuff, I made a custom case for my maggotkin, because it requires something very unique because there's so many Puskwale Blightlords. I have 9 total. So that's the problem, is like most cases, the problem with the Puskwale Blightlord is like he's not taller than some other models, you know, he's just like packing any other big thing, but the problem is their wings go straight outward. They don't like bend up or no, they go straight out, and so the amount of real estate that it takes up is really annoying. But that's okay. So we got it figured that out. So I had to make a custom thing for him. So I'm going back and just doing some very minute touch-ups on the yellow, patching stuff up. Because I have a, you know, putting on your tinfoil hat conspiracy time. I think GW knows. Man, we're going to make these models so that they're going to break easy and people have to buy new ones. That's a total joke, but it does feel that way sometimes. If you ever owned a Vanguard Palador with the flippin' javelin sticking out, you have felt that pain of being like, they knew this was going to happen. Are you doing a, let's see. Are there any hand-to-hand combat units? Like, is there someone out there that's like, screw this sword, I'm gonna punch its face? Oh, like actual like fisticuffs? I think everyone has weapons, right? Even Bone Splitters, who is the most technologically, we'll say, inept. They use clubs and stuff. Who uses just bare hands? Nothing springs to mind, but I would love a, you know, what is it? Like a fighting monk style thing. Korgoraths. Yeah, I guess it's true. Is there a way to make Korgoraths battle line? I have not read a Khorne book in so long. Old Soul Blight, Beast Riders. I thought Beast Riders had clubs and stuff. That's something. Maybe I'm thinking of a different unit. Okay. Let's see. Sadly, no corgis. Can't be battling. Bomber. I'd love that. That's actually that style of model where it is, you know, like 80 points and it's just kind of there to do a very specific purpose. That's my favorite thing. Like, I feel the same way about the Super Shark from the Deepkin, where he's kind of this like middle of the road, just kind of there unit, right? You're like, why would I take this guy? But man, if you take him in packs, they're not bad. Let's see. Howdy, Doug. Heidi, Prussian Warfare. That's such a bummer about Corgrats. Okay, let's start highlighting the black here. I need Dawnstone. Can you buy... Oh, here we go. Question from Torrentino. Do you ever limit the amount of detail you put into models because you know you may flip the army down the road? Have you ever put so much into a model that it's now on the never sell list? I mean, I have exactly one model on my never sell list, and that is my Glocken, just because I like the model so much. It is my favorite GW model. But it's not because I put the most work into it. Like, that was my first big monster. If I redid the Glocken, it would look so much better. But I don't want to. No, I always, here's the thing. I don't get ground down in the, like, the minutia details of when I'm painting models anyway, regardless. Like, I don't, how do I word this? I don't get armies thinking that I'll resell them. How about that? Does that make sense? Because that would kind of kill my motivation to paint them. Which is why you get me saying in every, like, fourth video, guys, I got this army, I'm all in. Which might be annoying. Sorry if that is. But the truth is that, yeah, I don't approach a project thinking that I'll get rid of it soon. So it doesn't really affect how much work I'm willing to put into it. I actually throw a little bit of oh, hold on a second. Someone's knocking at my door. Damn it!
Oh my god! Hi, I love you.
Hi, let me turn off my stream before we start yelling. No, you're fine. Give me 1 second. Hey everybody, as a matter of fact, my lovely wife just came home, and so I'm going to go ahead and turn off for the afternoon. I will see you all very, very soon.